baby, it's N64, episode 64. 8 squared comes together with this great episode we've prepared for you today. Hume, how's it going down?
Going good, going good. Just getting full swing into the holiday season. So, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all of you guys. It's a little early, but we're gonna be going on a holiday break for the next couple weeks. So I wanted to, get it out.
Get it out, got it out there. I got my boy Acuna Jr. in the top right corner, adding to the Braves collection. And then right below it, right now, I've got this like Lego painting that I like, but I'm planning to install two helmets in there just to like continue to build off the collection. Soon
Oh hell yeah!
I'll need to get rid of the diplomas and the Peloton. It'll just be all
Yeah,
memorabilia.
nobody cares about the diplomas. It's
Yeah.
the hockey jerseys and the football helmets.
Yeah, there we go. But let's kick things off with a bang. We've got plays of the week coming out, and you're not going to believe number 3 and number 2 happen at the same time. We've got Acker getting murdered by looks like number 4, and I know that 84 is Doug Britton, but we've got two players on the ice with a big old fight going. Britton throwing down crazy punches. That Madison? I don't know, but he's getting whooped. Oh, Britton bringing him down to the ground. And then over here, Aaron Kozak just beating on somebody and throwing him to the ground. Look at this. He kicks the
That's
skate,
how you set the tempo. 15 seconds into the game.
and watch
Yeah.
this. He pushes the ref. Watch
He just yeets the ref. That's a game misconduct. I think the ref was too afraid to give him another penalty, so he let it slide.
All right.
Number 1, we got Beastman, Kozak's son. I don't know if this is a penalty shot or a shootout, but he just comes in with a nice forehand, deke, top bends. You like to see that from a young shooter.
Let's see a replay of that guy. Oh. Damn. Yo.
Yeah, kid's got a rocket.
Rocket shot. And I love his celebration, man, grabbing the ice, saying hello, and then cheering with his teammates. Pure display. Even gave the goalie some dap.
Oh, you got to dap up the goalie.
Hell yeah. Well, speaking of dapping up the goalie, we had a big trade alert going down. The Tropics are going to receive Colby Wierzema, as well as a season 10 second from Las Vegas. And the Sinners receive Billy Busick and Tim Hessen, an affiliate. I know Busick's like pretty high up there, man.
Yeah, that shocked me. I mean, you don't see like players of that caliber get moved a whole lot in season, anyways.
Yeah.
That's more of like off season moves. But you never know what's going on behind the scenes. Um,
Yeah.
in the locker room, or how the team's planning their future. They got a high draft pick out of it, second rounder, and a player on the back end, so can't judge it immediately.
I felt like Billy Busick may have played for the Sinners originally, didn't he?
I want to say he did. I think that rings a bell because I think they had like 3 guys on their team with the last name B, if I remember right.
Here's my perspective. This guy wants to play out until his player no longer can be in the league, so 31. He wants to retire in Las Vegas.
I mean, I can't hate anybody for that.
That's my take.
I plan on sticking with Turku my whole career until, unless I guess piss Evan off enough that he trades me.
Yeah, I plan them to make, like a Egyptian style like mausoleum for me.
Oh yeah, I don't want just my jersey in the rafters. I want, my shorts and my underwear and all of it.
Damn. All right, well let's see where the the Alpha Dogs receive Ellis Wolfenden as well as Robert Thump and affiliate Tyree Wells. In the Tropics, the same team involved in the other trade, receive Alvin Chisholm, Eaglefoot, and Cyprian Calhoun. So Eaglefoot is now a part of the Tropics.
Yeah, the Tropics seem to be, They've been having a good season. They're pretty far up in the standings. Look like unless they just completely collapse, going to get a playoff spot. So this could just be, um, kind of like a MLB, trade deadline. Hey, let's get a couple rentals, to
Maybe.
carry us through the playoffs or something like that. I don't know the terms of the deals or anything, so they could be long term moves. But if you feel like you can go for it and you feel like you can give up what you give up, make those moves, man. Nobody ever won a cup being a coward too afraid to make moves, in my opinion, at least.
Here's what I'm seeing on and I know like probably can't read this, but James Bay's goalie 9587, he's a 28-year-old. I don't know the background if he has a second player, is he building a second player? Um, but I do wonder with the acquisition of Eaglefoot, or is Honolulu preparing to depart with Bays and call up Eaglefoot's goalie?
Yeah, that could be it. You know, um, that could very well be a possibility, and it would be a smart move by them if that is the case. I
Well,
mean, Eaglefoot himself is a good player, so it's not like they're taking it on the chin for 2 years.
yep. Guess that's just the way it goes. We'll have to see. It makes me wonder who might be the number three goalie in the league, as Aaron Kozakov, Miners goalie in the league. Kozakov is, the co-owner of Las Vegas, so there's complications in being able to acquire him. This Taj von Wolfswinkel is the second highest overall, and then I believe there's a 63 that has a long name as well. I'm not exactly sure, but
Um, yeah, I think I don't have the rosters loaded up. Let me get that real quick. I think you might be talking about Berlin's goalie, and it's a shame for me because I'm the coach, but I never remember his full name.
hold on, we're gonna get this.
Helmet von Hammer, is that who you're thinking of?
Yes. Here, let me throw this on the big screen. Taj von Wolfswinkel is where's his overall? 68. Then there's so Aaron Kozakov, Eaglefoot, and then we have a 68, and then Helmet von Hammer. Do you know who that is? So, okay. So he's already like done though. These are rock solid. Who's that? Goose Egg Wicked? Captain Wicked, maybe? Nolan Nordstrom? Elijah Nordstrom? Tyler Stevens, Ace. Well, all right, let me go back to the. All right, so that's what went down in that transaction. All right, and then we had the release of Bell Cronell, surprisingly. Vic Zidlicki also with both missing progressions along with Amraj Demko, each of these from pro teams. So the Wolves calling up Fred Barreto and the Steamers calling up Raymond Hudson. The Pharaohs called up Fear the Deep and the Rhinos signing Michael Mishizov. And the Sabretooths signing Colonel Sanders. Good
Well, we
name,
know what
right?
the after game meal is going to be for them going forward. 11 herbs and spices.
11 herbs and yes, shout out to that. That's the name ball or the name puck of the week goes to Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
Funniest name. Okay. So then we've got these conferences coming up. Um, there's a splattering of different numbers when it comes to games played, ranging from a top of 40 down to a minimum of 36. I thought that 39 was um, what was the end of last week, but we are looking at these on Monday night, so people may have entered
Yeah.
stats for games that just played.
So Honolulu put their game tonight in. Because, yeah, I think last week ended at 49 because then this week would be 43, the week after would be 47, and then 51 on the last week would get to 51.
And you can see in the Rocket Conference, we have in the lead is Las Vegas, followed by Honolulu with 53 points. And then 5 points behind them are Columbus, and 3 points behind them are Albuquerque. In a tight race, we've got San Diego, Manitoba, and Tennessee, each 2 games out from one another. And finally, we've got Alaska with 34, Sapporo with 27, and North Bay with 26. So lots moving over in the Rocket, but I'm curious what's going down in Mr. Hockey.
Yeah, we got Jacksonville and Florence tied for the lead. Only separated by goal difference. Boston, 12 points behind them. Copenhagen coming in at 46. So, the top four have really distanced themselves from the rest of the league. Uh, I don't think anybody outside of the top four is definitely not catching Jacksonville or Florence at this point. Copenhagen, if they have a bad couple weeks, they might slip down to fifth, but those are definitely going to be your home teams in the first round of the playoffs, those four. And then we got Turku, Miami, Rome, Norfolk, and Glasgow. 5 teams fighting for those last four playoff spots. So that's going to be just a spicy, spicy run in to the end of the season in the Mr. Hockey conference there. Should be exciting to watch. Every game is going to matter. Uh, which I was a little worried when they expanded to 16 out of 20 teams making the playoffs, but the way this year's gone kind of assuaged my doubts on that. Like I don't think the quality of the playoffs is going to be diluted at all, and it's definitely going to be a fun last 3 or 4 weeks of the season.
Yes, it will be. And shout out to the Maccabees rising from that bottom, yo. Okay, so let's move along now. Hold on, we're going to move along to our interview with Maverick Rivers. Oh, that's right, here on Rinkside, live and direct with an up and coming star. We have none other than Maverick Rivers. Maverick, welcome to the show. How you doing this evening?
How's it going, fellas? Thanks for having me.
Oh,
Not too bad, not too bad. The first question we had on the docket, I guess, was a little moot after the introduction. But who are you in goals? I would assume Maverick Rivers.
Correct, yeah. So, Maverick Rivers, I am a forward currently playing for the Pittsburgh Lions.
how are they doing this season?
They're doing pretty good. The last time I checked the standings, last couple days, obviously, we took some L's, and I believe yesterday was my first official win with the team, so that was cool to see. Obviously, tracking ice time and things of that nature towards the bottom as a new player, but that's all right. It's always good to see the ice and play the other side of the puck for once. So.
Hmm, very interesting. I'm curious more about your player, but before we get into that, could you tell us a little bit about what brought you into the league?
Yeah, so I'm in a couple other sim leagues, a couple football leagues, and a basketball league as well. I was in goals actually a couple seasons back. I had to take a step away for some personal reasons, and then because of personal reasons, it kind of brought me back, and I had a lot more free time. So I got back into those leagues that I kind of neglected from before, and always wanted to try to tackle goals and really get a feel for it, and didn't feel like I could a couple seasons back. So I came back with the extra time and all the effort to show for it.
Well, we certainly appreciate you coming back to goals, and it's good
Yeah,
to.
if you don't mind me asking real quick, what football leagues were you in?
Sure. So the CFSL, the Collegiate or College Sim Football League, I probably butchered that one. ECFL is Elite College Football League, and then ACFS, American College Football League, and CSBA, Collegiate Sim Basketball Association. I think that one is. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering if you happen to be in the SFL, because me and Pawtai were
I have
members of
heard
that.
about it. That one's
Yeah.
it's subscription based, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was looking into it. Yeah, I've been making my rounds trying to find other ones and seeing where I would go. So I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see me in there.
The community's great. I just left it last year for just because I was kind of done with it, just in general. I'm not gonna talk anything bad about another
Of
league. It
course, yeah.
wasn't. It
Everyone leaves for
wasn't.
the.
Anything like that. I was just kind of. Yeah. I mean, I've had my fun, and if I got to pay a subscription and I'm not having a whole lot of fun anymore, what's the point in paying money? If it was free, I'd still be in it,
100%.
100%. But moving on from that.
Oh, can I
Uh,
interject right here, real quick?
oh yeah.
Just wanted to shout out two other leagues you might be interested to on the football front. One
Sure.
is the USFA, which progresses your player naturally from the ECFL to the Pro League. There's a draft coming up. I could fill you in on more. And then the second one is Project X, which Hume and I are both owners of. Is that right? Or are you player?
Oh yeah. It's gonna be coming back from a little bit of a hiatus, I believe,
Okay, I've not heard of
10th.
the Project X.
on
I
the
know
10th of
ECFL had
January.
their
Hmm.
And we've
partnership or
had
whatever. So
quite a few people leave, but just the guy that was running it got a new job and just got swamped, so it was on hiatus there for a little bit. But I think this would be our
Fourth.
fourth season.
Fourth
Yeah.
season.
Um,
Sick.
but we use Madden, so with
Yeah.
all the pros and cons that comes with that, but it's 100% free, and I can tell you without even having to look it up that there are spots available. So
Yeah.
if you made a player, you would get drafted immediately. Well, you
duly
wouldn't get
noted.
drafted. We've already had the draft. You would just get assigned to
Assigned a team. Yeah,
whoever needs that position based on waiver order.
absolutely. I'm sure
I
I'll be able
think
to
we
look that up
got
after this.
the
Yeah. There you go.
Steelers, Niners, Bears,
Bears.
um, Packers. 'Cause I
What
think
about my
the
Dolphins?
Falcons changed to the Packers, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And then I took over the Dolphins and made them the Chiefs.
Oh,
And then there's the 6 team. Oh, the Eagles. But I don't know what's going to happen with them because their owner left. So
He might
sounds
come
like there's
back.
a
Who
spot
knows?
to bring Miami back.
Yeah. Oh, you could come in and be an owner. Think about how to
Don't
get
that would
some
tempt
be
me.
rules.
funny. That would be funny if he came in and made the Dolphins because I took over the Dolphins and made him the Chiefs.
Can't get rid of us that easy.
Well, Evan needed an owner because the guy that owned the Dolphins stepped down, and I said, "Yeah, under one condition, I move him to Kansas City." And he's like,
Oh.
"Okay." I'm like, "All right, I'll do it."
So I'm curious, like you talked about what brought you into the league. What's kind of brought you to your player? Like, why did you choose your build, and like, who are you building for?
Um, well, it kind of went off of what I had a previous player. My previous player was I think, right defender and he was Bane Cadis. And it was great and all. I played defense in a lot of other leagues, like the football leagues, and I got a lot of action. It was awesome. I got kind of bored with it, so I flipped sides of the puck, like I mentioned earlier, and went for a forward. And as far as the playmaking goes, I was gonna lean towards like a shot maker or something like that, and then kind of decided against that just off personal preference. So I went with playmaker, somebody who can obviously assist when needed, make sure that they're good with being able to pass the puck, and then obviously have good ice awareness, and then take shots if necessary. And then I think I even went with like fights maybe or most likely because obviously you got to stick up for your teammates. So I don't mind sitting in the box as long as I put the other guy on the ice.
Absolutely. I've got a perspective on your player right now. Mavericks River playmaker archetype. You're 6'2", 210. What made you go with those dimensions?
I'm 5'10" in real life, so I just always wanted to be a little bit taller and probably a little bit heavier. I felt like it wasn't too overly heavy. Obviously, the game will probably prove me wrong. I know I got to get that speed rating up as I'm pretty slow right now out of the gate, but I'm making up those Twitch progressions, obviously, and making sure we're watching the streams and stuff like that so I can up the speed gating every week so far.
Yeah, it'll take you a little bit longer than somebody at lighter weight, but I mean, we got guys in the pros that are 275 pounds running around at 99 speeds. um, which I have opinions on that, but I'll keep them to myself. so,
Sounds like
so
it's a
going
little
on
bit
to
of a
the
sore
next,
subject.
yeah, going on to the next question. I don't know if you're like a big fan of the NHL, watch a lot of hockey, or I guess I'll make this a two-parter. Sorry, Potty, I'm gonna add on to the question you built. Uh, First off, like, what is your experience with hockey? Did you grow up playing it, watching it, or just hey, I like sim leagues. Somebody sent me a link to a hockey league because that's kind of what I did when I joined goals. Kansas City don't have a hockey team. It ain't popular out here, so I
Absolutely.
wasn't into it growing up. But somebody that was in the SFL, I don't even remember who it is at this point, was just like, "Hey, you want to join a hockey sim league?" I'm like, "Sure." And then I joined, and I'm like, "Okay, this is actually a pretty cool sport."
Yeah, so I think it was probably 2 Christmases ago. My nephews were over at my mom's house. We're all visiting for Christmas, and they were playing NHL 24 because it came out, or 23, or whatever one it was. And I kind of was like, oh, this is kind of a fun game to play. And on the subject of sim notes, right? Obviously, like all the sim leagues, I think my phone just heard me talk about it. Obviously, you know how phones get, and they just started rattling off stuff that was, of interest to me. And I came across goals as a sim league, and I was like, oh, it's hockey. I do football, primarily enjoy football. I didn't know a single thing about hockey until I joined goals, essentially to like kind of figure it all out. And I still don't as much. I mean, I watch the games and learn stuff every day pretty much, and kind of look up stuff in my spare time. But that kind of fueled the initial like for hockey. Didn't really know much about watching NHL live or anything like that. Just knew that since I'm from Ohio, that I liked the Blue Jackets, Columbus. Is that Columbus?
Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah,
damn
so
Blue
obviously they were
Jackets.
yeah, because they were red, white, and blue. They were pretty awesome. And then for football, college, obviously I'm a huge Hurricanes fan. So Carolina has the Hurricanes as well. So I was like, hey, like that would be kind of a natural team for me to start cheering on because they're the same team basis, just in different states. So I started
Yeah.
following Carolina Hurricanes as well, and I'm just here for the ride. I don't know a whole lot, but like I said, I'm learning a little bit more every day and enjoying it. So as long as I'm enjoying it, I'm here.
Yeah. So, what channel did you find it in, or did it just like suggest it? On your, how like your homepage of Twitch will be like, "Hey,
Correct,
these
yeah.
are like
I'm pretty sure it was something that was like a
two."
suggestion off of Twitch where it was just, the games you'd enjoy because obviously some of the other sim leagues run like NCAA 14 and stuff like that. So it was
Okay.
picking up the algorithm. So I was watching some sports streaming and then obviously I came across goals and hopped right in.
God, I can't wait for the new NCAA game. uh,
Been a long time coming.
yeah. So the second part of my question is, I just want a little bit of background. Otherwise, it wouldn't have made much sense. For this player that you made, your forward, were you basing it off anybody? Like, did you have a favorite player that you kind of wanted to emulate, or maybe like a legend that you heard about? Like, oh, I'm gonna make Mario Lemieux or somebody like that.
Nope, I don't want to like, make the cringe world of hockey and say like the only person that pops into my head is, Wayne Gretzky. So that's probably the only person that I would know off the top of my head, but I just kind of put it in there. I used the name. Obviously, I've used Maverick Rivers in some other leagues as well. So there are a couple people in this league that I know from those leagues as well. So it was kind of a homage to a player name that has done well for me in the past. So it was kind of just forge my own path in a way and just kind of see what kind of player he ends up with. This league is different, obviously, like we talked about weekly progressions and the fact that you can miss it and get demoted or let go and stuff like that. So hopefully I'm trying to just challenge myself and see how long it kind of takes me to work my way back up and make up those progressions and see how many seasons it takes for me to kind of max my player build, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, reaching out to all the owners, like you said you did before, is gonna help you a lot. That's advice I would give anybody in the minors. Is don't like it like anything in life. Moderation's the key. Don't be pestering them or anything. But I mean, literally, just a simple like, hey, this is my guy in the minors. I'm just trying to see like if you need this archetype. If would I be a good fit? I'd like to play for you, etc. Because
Absolutely.
come draft time, because I'm not the owner of Turku, but I'm the assistant GM. So like come draft time, it's really, when we set our board up, it's like, okay, these are the positions we need, so we're going to find people in those positions. Obviously, we want the highest overall we can get because they'll be able to slot in easier, et cetera, et cetera. But, we've drafted guys that are 4, 5, 6 overalls under, a same guy, same build at that position because we just had a really good, pre-draft interview. And, it's kind of realistic in that way. Like, in real sports, that's why they do all that,
Absolutely, yeah. You
you
guys
know,
gotta plan ahead, and you guys want good fits for your teams, and
because we're not
uh,
going to spend the capital if we don't think the guy's going to stick around, like
absolutely,
if
yeah.
he's going to miss progressions or just not take advice on, player builds, all that.
Yeah, it worked out well the first time I had the player, like I said, and obviously just talking to coaches and GMs and stuff like that. And this league is nice because some other leagues that I've been in a part of in the past and stuff, that's kind of frowned upon. You don't necessarily reach out first, so it was kind of cool that Goals is welcoming of that. And most all the coaches and gyms have been super receptive and just said, hey, we really appreciate the time. We'll take note of it, and it makes you stand out. So.
Oh
Definitely
yeah.
just make sure that other people in the minors, if they need the help, obviously, just ask. Make sure you're active in chat and Twitch and stuff like that. Just get your name out there, and then um, don't be afraid to ask questions and get to know the GMs and coaches. I mean, we're all people here, so
Hell
Yeah,
yeah,
for
man.
sure. The
Yo,
accessibility is, one of the best parts.
just wanted to say I respect that, not only have you described your experience, but you're also providing advice to the future generations. And I want to remind the viewers of Rinkside that Rinkside, along with Goldstein's, committed to empowering players to be able to reach out and contact those, team owners, to be able to empower themselves to have the best experience they can find. And like, super glad you have kind of come into this league with like a good vision and a clear path of execution. So I've got 3 questions for you left. We're going to do these in rapid fire. What are you looking for in a pro team?
I'm just looking for a sense of belonging from my first time around. Due to some things that kind of happened and things that are out of your control, sometimes I wasn't necessarily offered no clause trades here and there and stuff like that. So I got kind of traded rapidly a few times. So I'm just looking for a legit home, a group of guys that I get along with, GM and coaches that know what they're doing, and then I don't mind learning underneath and just taking their advice and getting better and just get a pro team, I guess, so that I can be the best pro player I can be, and kind of let my player just do his thing.
Hell yeah, man. That's sick. I
Yeah.
think any owner can relate to that. What's on your mind, Hume?
Oh, just piggybacking off that, what what would you like out of the league, or where do you see the league, um, 5 seasons from now?
I
Which
just
I
want
guess
to,
the rate they go would be about, I don't know, 2-ish years real time seems to
Yeah.
be.
sure,
I was going to say 5 years, but I felt like might not have that perspective. But we that's the big boy question: is where do you see the league 5 years from now? And I think you have the history to be able to take a stab at this. So not five
sure.
seasons, 5 years.
Yeah. Um, I obviously want to see exponential growth, I'd say, obviously bringing in teams and stuff of that nature and all that kind of stuff. Um, you know, I made a comment to a couple other coaches, I think, when I came back this season. I was like, oh, like chat's kind of dead a little bit. I know people kind of got busy and GMs kind of got busy, but I'd like to see a lot more activity as far as like somebody, not necessarily who has ownership in the league, but who partakes in it. And then just kind of see that these players kind of make it a world of their own. Um, it's not just something necessarily on a screen. You can really kind of get lost in it, make your player. And the first time around, I made my own Twitter or whatever, and I was like updating player stuff. And when I was moving from team to team, and I would change all that kind of stuff. So it is what you make it. But I think in 5 years, if I can't remember off the top of my head right now how many teams we have. I know there's quite a few, but obviously expansion is growth, and the more the merrier. Potentially, I don't know, maybe some partnerships with other hockey in the future that we can kind of even develop where goals might be a pro team specifically, and then minors is for a different one or something like that. And you just kind of expand upon the idea and make it as much as you can. But I think it's in a good spot. I browse the team content stuff like that and see coaches and involvement stuff like that. And I like the idea. I think it was here I saw too that we have things like Rinkside, obviously, and then you have like your reporters that are reporting on Twitter and stuff like that of potential moves or something like that. So those are all kind of cool. Player involvement's really cool as well. Not a whole lot of leagues do that as well for like interviews or just talking to players in general. So, yeah, so 5 years I would obviously like to see goals still standing and much larger of a community. But I think so far the limited time I've spent this season and last season and a half that I did or whatever was nothing more than welcoming and inviting, and I wish other people can get to see that.
Hell yeah, man. Love that perspective and love the future you kind of painted for us. I think it's a one of growth and one of like invigoration in the engagement of all those that are involved. Hume, did you have our final question for Mr. Rivers?
Yeah, just it's kind of self-serving, but we gotta know. Are you subscribed to Ringside?
Absolutely.
Hell
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
Hell yeah.
+1 to the subscribers.
There we go. Well, if you watching at home aren't subscribed, you know where that button is. But I just wanted to thank you, Maverick, for coming on to the show. Really class act here. I think any team's going to be lucky to have you. Hume, what did you want to say?
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. Yeah, I look forward to seeing how your player, progresses in your league. To, quote one of my favorite movie franchises, I will watch your career with great interest.
Appreciate you guys
Um,
having me. It's been fun.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll see you later. And we're back with from our interview with Maverick Rivers, and we're going to move along.
I just got to
Sure.
say real quick, throwing in, definitely one of the better interviews, I've had since you asked me to be the co-host. So, just shout out to him. Anybody that drafts him, I think, is going to get a good player.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. I completely agree. Our list. But he's on everybody's list. Those that subscribe to Rinkside, such as goals leaders Ray Bob Diddle with 23 goals, slowly behind is General Cornwall with 22 and Matt Green with 21. So that's kind of cool to see that tight of a race. When it comes to the assist leaders, Oliver Price with 25, Trevor Lopez, shout out Trevor, with 24 points. And then 2 points behind them are Maylee Harper and Michael Bryston, the third, who have 22. So if you put points, goals and assists together, you get your points leadership. General Cornwall with 39 points, Oliver Price with 38, and then tied for second or third is Oni Escola and Outlaw Owens. Damn. So we've got time on ice leaders.
Yeah, we got Johnny Blades eclipsing the 1,000-minute mark. They're either just running him on every line or he does not take a penalty ever. He's definitely gonna need some cryo treatment or whatever the hell athletes do these days. Doug Britton coming in second place, 988. Lindros 983. We got Dante Moon, Robert Garrett Jr. rounding out the top five with 981 and 979 apiece. Popping on over to the shots on goal leaders. Grizzle Bear leading the league with 131. Nordstrom slotting in second with 129. Ray Bob Diddle hot on his heels with 127. My boy Ani Escola, fourth place, 122. Murgatroyd Skittle rounding up the top five at 119. Power play goal leaders, Racer X on top again. Although he's getting some competition, coming for that power play title with Leathers and Flurry right behind him with 8 apiece. Matt Ousley, fourth place with 7, and then a 4-way tie for fifth between Lindros, Gunny, Levy, and Price. Shorthanded goal leaders are, the same as they were last week, I believe. We got Bob and Zelda McCarthy with 2, and then a bunch of people with 1.
Bunch of people. But let me tell you about what's not a bunch of people, about a select few. It's leadership. The people that take the most incredible position on the whole game where they crush another human being with either stick or their body, but mostly with their mind. The hits leader himself, Doug Britton, with 157 hits, which is an incredulous amount because the next closest, get this, well, it's Doc Lindros Jr. with 156. So he's 1 point behind him. But if you look at third place, Robert Garrett Jr. with 138. Crazy. There's a big cliff. Everybody's hitting themselves trying to get up it. Like the penalty minute hits leaders, we've got Billy Big Hits, who's got 49 points, and then Joaquin Malou with 44. Puck possession time leaders, Adam Wiseman coming in with 66 and 6. Adam Banks, 65 and 25. Cool that those rhymed. And finally, in the plus minus best, Robert Garrett Jr. with 37 overall. That's 5 away from second place of Johnny Blades with 32. And then Squib Squibbles, the lone forward in the top 3, although shout out Ray Bob Diddle, who is also in the top 10 of forwards, being 2 out of 10. But that's kind of the summary of the plus minus.
Yeah, the plus minus is just all Jacksonville, Florence, and Las Vegas. That's kind of amazing. You know, I hate them because I ain't them, but I gotta respect the game.
Damn.
So we'll move on to the goalie stats here real quick with save leaders. Chris McBride taking the lead at 734. Second place, quite a bit behind him with 875, is Arnold Shots and Stopper. Bebe Deer coming in third with 856. And we got a two-way tie for fourth between Base and Duncan at 794. Save percentage wise, no surprise there. Brody maintaining his title atop the save percentage category with a 917. Baby Deer still solidly in second there with a 914. Twin Screw taking the bronze at 912. Then we got Lashinger at fourth with 910, and Tony Puckstopper coming in fifth at 907. Moving on over to the shutouts. Lashinger and Twin Screw tied for the gold with 7 apiece. Brody coming in, I guess technically tied for third, but really second place with 6. Elias Rose for Copenhagen coming in at 5, and then Bacciagalupi at 4. And then a bunch of people at 3, one of whom I want to, give a little shout out, Barbeau for Turku. Not only did he come in halfway through the season, he's also a rookie and is top 5 in shutouts, which I think, is worthy of a little praise on his end. Rounding out the goalie stats, goals against average. No surprise, Brody Twin Screw 1-2 with 1.71 and 1.72, respectively. Third place, Stonewall at 2.04. Puckstopper in fifth at 210, and Base rounding out the top 5 with 2.17 goals against average.
Wow, crazy. And when it comes to our rookies, look at it again. Nacho Sicario leading the pack with 9 goals. Nacho Sicario leading the pack at 9 goals, but Jamal Goodman within 1. And then points leaders, Nacho Sicario with 18 and Jerry Hoekstra with 11. And I guess shout out Robin Sparkles, who came in second place, as well as DeMarcus Watson. Goals for the, but Sicario securing steady success.
Yeah, I think we know by this point in the season he's going to get the Rookie of the Year award, deservedly so. If I had a vote, which I don't, but if I did, I'd definitely go to Sicario.
Well, that is what we put together for you this evening. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Shout out to Maverick Rivers, our esteemed guest this evening. That was really sick to have that conversation with them. As we close it out and wish our viewers a happy New Year and Merry Christmas and everything else you celebrate ahead. Hume, did you have any thoughts on, you know, where the world is going and how we can be a part of it?
Well, I think it's going okay. I guess definitely not the worst it's ever been. Could be better, but just be kind to people. Don't be a dick. That's really it. I think if everybody followed that rule, it'd be a bit better. But just want to say to everybody once again, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, all that. Um, don't get stupid on New Year's Eve. I don't want to hear about any of you, guys being idiots and getting DUIs or anything. But we're gonna be on I think a 3 week hiatus. We should be back the 8th. So, which I guess at that point it'll be the end of the season and maybe going into playoffs. If I got my timeline right. But anyways, so don't think we just disappeared if you don't see an episode for the next couple weeks.
Yeah. What's up? Thanks for tuning in to Rinkside.